Live. Go, Sean.
Good evening. Good afternoon, Bobcat Nation. Welcome to another edition of Bobcat Blitz. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick. I'm coming to you live from right in front of the Preserve Stadium. Today, we are going to say hello to our cheer team, which will be back in action this Friday as we come back home after 2 very long weeks on the road. We're going to take on Bonita Springs. Of course, joining us from our Zoom studio, StreamYard studio, Mr. John Rawlings. John, how are you today, sir?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Hey, Sean, should I start out with some really great news for the citizens of Northport?
Yes, go ahead. I know what you're going to tell me. Go ahead.
I'm super stoked about this today because the citizens of Northport, WKDW Radio, and the city of Northport, effective today, we are the emergency broadcasting network for the citizens of Northport. So please share this information. So when there's a hurricane, 97.5 FM will be on the air. We have a lot of things worked out through city management, city staff. We're super proud of that. We went through the whole process today. That got voted in and confirmed today with a 4-0 vote. Thanks to all of the commissioners. The only one who abstained was Debbie McDowell, and that was for a different reason. She was all for it and 100% in on this. It's a great partnership that we have. And what's really nice about this partnership is it's for the citizens of Northport in an emergency event. So 97.5 WKDW is super proud to have a partnership in the city of Northport. Sean, I know that you have so much more to talk about.
Oh, well, John, I can't wait to get a tour of the studio once we get that going and hook up. John, before we get started, before we get our first guest on here, I wanted to bring up this shirt here. Usually I wear my Northport blue to every episode, but this Saturday we had the Remember the Fallen 5K, and I've got a Bobcat connection to this shirt. This is 941 Apparel. That's right, Mr. and Mrs. Cawthorn, who, of course, we know, true friends of the program. Not only the boosters, their children play sports here with us. We have one still playing in the college level. They have been the exclusive shirt provider for the Northport, the fire department's 14th annual run there. So I want to give a shout out. Excellent quality. John, we had 600 runners. I'd say almost 700 people. I want to give a big shout out to NJROTC from Northport. Chief Kipe was there with his cadets. We had Miss Pomerleau with the Key Club there as well. We had a really good Northport showing today. So thought I'd wear the shirt for them. So what do you think?
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the Cawthorns, if they're involved in it, they do a fantastic job.
Yes, they do.
Anything they do.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into our heavy stuff tonight, I have got some special friends of mine. I love them to death. I got them to come out here on a hot Tuesday afternoon. Let's bring them on in. Make that noise. John, this is our Bobcat Cowbell crew, the BCC. I love them. We're going to have a talk with him here in just a second, but they also go to the away games, and that's why I had to bring him on here. All right, we're going to start on my right. Go ahead, Mr. Yushu.
Hi, I'm Shimada Yubashu. My son Danilo is number 64 on the team.
Good.
I'm Miss Pagan. I'm a teacher here at Northport High. My daughter was a varsity cheerleader the last 4 years, then she graduated last year, but I still come to support my students.
Hi, my name's Tiffany Sauer. My son is on both JV and varsity, and he's number 50, Kyle Sauer.
So, John, these are our super fans. They started, I want to say last year, did we start the Bob? Yep. Yeah, we did the Cowbells last year. That's right. So, how do we take off from me just saying doing it to actually doing it? What got you going on this?
I don't know. We weren't even doing it together. We all just kind of brought them separately and then just migrated together on the bleachers.
Yeah, I think it saves my voice. I don't get so hoarse the next day.
True.
Because it saves my voice because I can ring my bell when I'm happy and when I'm sad.
And the boys say when they hear us yelling, they can't hear us, but they can hear the cowbells.
Oh, they can. Excellent.
They hear the cowbells, so they know we're cheering for them.
So, John, a lot of people know from college football, Mississippi State is very famous for their cowbells.
Yep.
And they actually get penalized sometimes for that. They actually get personal foul. We haven't had that problem yet. So, ladies, how do we get more parents to bring those cowbells out?
I don't know. It's a very good question. We need parents to pay attention and start getting their cowbells.
Don't be scared to be loud. Don't be scared. My son was embarrassed at first, but now he gets excited that, you know what, he's like, my mom's up there cheering. Like,
Exactly. That's a good point. Your mom's there making the noise. We got local thing. I recognize that bell, by the way. That's okay. You can have it. I pass that on.
Stolen it from
They
you,
have
That's
Sean.
okay.
No. We were watching a viewing at Beef O'Brady's one night, and Sean left his cowbell, and I picked it up.
I'm honored. I'm honored to pass it on to a super parent here. I love it.
At Five Below, they have them at Hobby Lobby that I've
Target.
Walmart has some, and these ones came from Amazon in the
I
Bobcat blue.
saw the what's that tool place?
Harbor Freight's got
They have them
cowbells?
for $6.99, the old-fashioned ones with the handle thing, not this kind. I saw it for $6.99 online. You can get these; they're all under $10. Yep.
So, ladies, we have a home game this Friday. We've been gone on the road for a couple weeks. Now, I did the Charlotte game, and I heard cowbells in the away section. I didn't go to the IMG, but I could still hear something in the video there. You had some cowbells. So, are you able to get into these stadiums? They don't ask you about it?
We asked the athletic directors, and we were told because it's an outside stadium, you're allowed to have them, just not indoors.
Ah, there we go. So, outdoors, you can have it. That's fantastic.
I bring it in my clear backpack. Nobody ever stops me. Even when I have to walk through security, it beeped on me way back in Moorhaven, and I said, "Oh, it's just my cowbells," and they let me right in.
That's awesome. Now, I think we're the only school that went to the away games. I don't think I've heard a single cowbell but us.
Somebody had them. IMG had little tiny ones.
Oh, we got real
Little
ones.
Happy bells.
I think we insulted them with these.
Nice. So did all three of you went to the IMG game?
Yeah,
All right, our first time at IMG. What'd you think about the $80,000 a year school?
Go Bobcats.
There you go. I love these diplomatic answers. I love it. Now, you had an hour-long rain delay. Did you all coordinate songs during the rain delay?
Yeah.
No, we tried
to find
get
a breeze.
wherever it was. There was no rain. It was just lightning, so it was still hot.
Have you thought about doing some kind of coordinated song for
No.
us?
No,
You only got one note.
We're good.
we're good.
We've
just
gotten
gonna
pretty
go
good
loud.
at like doing it all
At the same
together
time.
and then stopping together.
I like that. Coordinated cowbellery.
Or if
I
we
love
say,
it.
hey, they're getting ready to run out. Do we want to do this now, or are we going to wait a minute? We
Yeah.
coordinate together.
So how many total besides you three had the bells on an average?
One or two others.
Yeah,
So we're only at 5.
just a couple.
So all you listeners out there, we got to get at least 10 this week.
Playing.
I mean, if we double
Be
each
nice and
week,
loud.
let's get exponential here. We're going to double every week. We only have 4 home games. We already had 1, so we have 3 left. So we only got a few weeks left to get that in there.
And one of those will be homecoming, and one of those will be senior night. So important night.
Before you know it, it's over. So anybody have seniors on the team this year? Oh. How you doing, Mom? How you doing, Mom?
Yeah, it's my second time through that. So
Oh, okay. So you
I'm
got
I'm
past the
alright.
first time around the hard part. So what grade what year's in?
He's sophomore.
Sophomore. Now, for those who don't know Miss Pagan, I got to bring Miss Pagan in here for just a second here. The super of the super fans. She has been to every event that I can think of.
Try.
Minus, you only have one person who's beaten you on this, Miss Hogue. She's been here since the school began, and she has never missed anything for 20 years.
wow.
She goes to football, basketball, soccer, but you are a very close second.
A lot of the kids ask me to come during the day and during the week and ask if I'm going to come support them. So if I have the time and the means, I'm going to come because it means a lot to them when they see their teachers and school staff in the stands as fans cheering for them.
Excellent. So some of the parents who aren't coming out to these games, and you know who they are, what do you do? How are you going to get them out here? What do you say to them? What are they missing by not being
They're
here?
missing a great time. They're missing supporting their kids. It's the most important time. They're only here for a short while.
And
I know
it goes
that for
by
sure.
fast. Mine graduated last year after her 4 years, and I have another one coming in next year. And I know it's going to go by fast for her as well. And you get those senior posters, and it's really.
I see they're hanging. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to see mine.
Oh, you get to see them
I can't
Friday?
wait to see it on Friday.
That's fantastic. I didn't
We've been working so hard. I mean, 6 a.m. is early. 6 a.m. is early, and then to shower and go about your school day. They're working hard. They're doing it, I want to say with a smile. There's not been any bad attitudes that I've heard of.
No, they
Putting the
actually
work in.
prefer the 6 a.m.
Yeah.
practices, they
I
said.
think, yeah. So those who aren't listening, we had such a problem with the rain messing up our practices. The staff decided to have 6 a.m. practices instead. I come here in the morning, drop my daughter off. Lights are on, they're out there. I think it's a great strategic move on their part. I really do.
Right.
So,
Seen a huge improvement
Ruin-
since they did it.
all right. So one more time, Friday night, Bonita Springs. We haven't been home in 2 weeks. We picked up that huge win at Imagine just a week ago.
IMG.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. My bad. Like IMG, my bad. So, again, we got to get the fans out. It's going to be Western night. So we got the cowbells. So what better night if you're nervous about sticking out in the crowd? You wear your cowboy hat, your boots, your jeans, get yourself a nice cowbell. I want to thank student government for theming this week. It's going to be Western night. So, ladies, I want to thank you so much. I really love having you coming out. I call the crowd all the time for the cowbells, like one. Then all of a sudden they all come out now. So it's really growing nicely here. I do appreciate it. Any last words you want to say to your sons and well wishes?
Have a great game Friday. Thanks for having us, Sean.
Thank you. Again, that's the BCC. All right. Thank you, ladies. That's awesome.
Fantastic, Sean. Fantastic.
How'd that sound,
buddy.
John? Can you hear them? Are they loud
Yeah,
enough?
I definitely can hear them. Definitely
Excellent.
can hear them.
So, yeah, we love having them on there, being the home game. So, trying to see. Do we have our next guest ready?
Yes, we do.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. So, John, I'm going to do a little walk and talk here. I'm going to go say hi to Coach Drockler. But before we get there, I want to reach out to Jersey's Mike, Athlete of the Week. That's right, our Northport Jersey Mike. They still do their series. This one's on Peter Calfett. He was our we have lots of really good running backs. He gets the award for confident, athletic, tough, and skillful. Again, each week will be CATS theme. So congratulations, Peter Calfett. We do appreciate that. Real quick before we get to our next guest. If the IMG game taught us anything, guys, I've got to go down to Key West and film this game. You've got to help me out. It was a disaster. We tried the other school streaming service. It fell apart within 2 minutes. We were relying on my ladies here to give us score updates. Thank goodness they did. I have a ride back from Key West. I just don't have a ride to Key West because I have to sleep that night because Saturday morning I am the lead cart for the super huge Northport Invite. So they're going to let me sleep on the bus on the way back, but I need someone to help me get down there. So if you're watching and you have room and you're going to caravan, get me on that list so I can film that Key West game, our first ever football game in Key West. So, all right.
I know they're
John, are we
super
ready for
excited
next
about
guest?
that too, right?
Can you hear me?
Coach is super excited about that Key West trip too, isn't he?
It's going to be huge. They're going up Thursday. That's why I can't do it. They're going to go. People don't know this, but Key West High School, they made a deal with the Navy base and all that. They actually have dormitories for visiting teams because Key West just can't afford to go to Miami every weekend. So they bring teams in from across the state. It's a really neat experience. We had basketball and soccer last year, both girls and boys. They had such a great time doing that. They had regular hotels for them, but football's going to be in an old bunkhouse, old Navy bunkhouse, it sounds like. So
yep.
I'm looking forward to it. John, do we have our next guest ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Olivia,
all right, Miss Olivia. So, John.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. So, Miss Olivia here, I brought her on. I saw Miss Olivia first, a couple months ago. There's a group called Move Mountains.
Yes.
And I know about this group because several of the wrestlers here at Northport High School are in this group.
Yes.
And one thing led to another. And we're going to bring Move Mountains on later on in the year. They have a fundraiser run coming up. They're going to come and talk more about that. We're going to have both the members of the Move Mountains tell us about it. But I brought Miss Olivia on here because something special is going on here. And this is a tough week for those of us in healthcare. And I didn't want to bring this up, but today I even heard about something that happened to one of our patients. This is Suicide Prevention Week.
Yes.
And John, myself, and Miss Olivia, who's going to introduce herself in just a moment, we all have worked to some degree in the healthcare industry. And John, of course, you're with EMS. You probably had a lot more exposure to this than I am. So I want to thank John and Olivia for allowing her to come on today. Miss Olivia, can you tell us who, what, where, all that you're doing and why we brought you on today?
Sure. So my name is Olivia Bonavento. I moved to Northport around 4 years ago from New Jersey, where I actually currently am right now. I'm seeing some family. I am a BSN RN, so I'm a registered nurse who is also in pediatric primary care nurse practitioner school. So my goal is to eventually and really have that center around mental health, advocacy for mental health, and really giving that holistic care for our pediatric patients. Additionally, I am a marathon runner. I am running my 4th marathon in October. for suicide prevention. So I think that's why Sean specifically wanted me to come on today, just because I am running for a cause that is not only prevalent in healthcare, but very close to all of our hearts, John, Sean, and myself.
Well, and here's the thing. Any of us that are in healthcare, first off, my wife's a nurse, and I worked a level 1 trauma center up in Columbus, Ohio years ago.
Okay.
But I've got about 27 years medical. Suicide prevention is something we deal with in the medical industry itself, but this is across the country an issue.
Yeah.
And it needs to be talked about. And there's some really good resources out there, and it's bringing awareness. These types of conversations bring awareness to the people closest to us and their friends, and kind of highlight the reason that you're running and why that means so much to you.
So I personally have unfortunately lost 2 aunts to suicide, as well as my brother's best friend passing by suicide in 2019. I also am someone who has struggled with depression and anxiety myself. So whenever I run for a cause, I always want it to mean something to me. I always want that cause to really emulate who I am as an individual and what I stand for. And when I saw how much pain and suffering, the people around me went through when our loved ones and our friends passed away by suicide, I realized that we really needed to have more of a conversation around it. We need to talk about suicide prevention. We need to raise money for education, research, for advocacy for our young adults. It means so much to me that I'm able to come on this platform and also speak about suicide prevention, because it's something that is really stigmatized. There's a lot of stigma around it. And I think that me being on here and me promoting suicide prevention as my marathon cause is really important for our youth to see.
Absolutely. And the commitment that you have to the cause, that's an influencer, right? I actually did a show this week with CARE out of Port Charlotte.
Okay.
And they are, they're part of this whole process too, with rape and prevention, suicide,
yeah,
and human trafficking. And all these, I tend to believe that all these things intermix with a lot of our population today. And we don't ever really get to talk about it a lot unless it's Suicide Prevention Week.
Right.
It seems like we highlight it more then. With CARE, I have them on once a month, and we get to talk about different topics once a month throughout the year, which is kind of a unique situation for a community radio station like ours.
Yeah.
There is a value of talking about it and educating the students. What's been your approach with the students, though, at Northport High School, and how have you interacted and how have they received the conversations?
So I don't have much exposure to the students at Northport except for wrestling, because my cousin is a sophomore at Northport High School and is a wrestler. So I do a lot of volunteering at the wrestling meets for medical purposes, as well as being one of the Move Mountains race directors. And Nicole Nappy, her children are both wrestlers at Northport High School. So I really do get to see these individuals and I get to speak to them pretty often. But I think like my biggest message to the wrestlers is like, I just always encourage kindness and compassion to other people. Luckily, the wrestlers are such an amazing group of young men and women. All of them are just absolutely fantastic and, in my view, very kind and driven. So for me, I just really think that talking to them and encouraging them to be kind to everyone in their lives is really the goal for me. And honestly, Move Mountains is more of Nicole's project, Nicole Nappy's project that I am race directing and helping with. But her children are very involved, as well as the majority of the wrestlers. So they're really understanding the art of giving back, the art of being compassionate and kind, and the art of really just showing people that they aren't alone. Move Mountains does a lot for nursing homes, does a lot for animal shelters, and of course, really helps a lot of people in our community when they need it. So I think that's really the root of prevention of any sort of suicidal ideation and mental health is really just having a village. And Move Mountains and Northport High School has a great one.
What would be your advice for conversation at home, just to start with, like the parents, or even if the students are out there and they're contemplating thoughts?
Right.
What would be your suggestion right now for them?
I think the biggest thing with suicidal ideation and all of that and the conversation is that a lot of children are afraid to express that because of this automatic stigma that they're going to be taken away from their families. They're going to be put in a hospital. They're going to not have any access to the outside world. They're going to be judged by their friends. I really think that it's important for us as adults to really encourage each other to really sit down with our kids. I don't have children myself, but I do have a lot of children that mean a lot to me, and I always make it a very, very big thing to sit down with them and say, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Is there anything that you need to talk about that you don't feel like you can talk about with anybody else? Like, I really try and encourage authentic conversation about uncomfortable topics, because I think hard conversations are what really drive change. So I would encourage a lot of parents to really have those hard conversations with their kids. If there's something going on in the community surrounding mental health, talk to your kids about it. If they see a child at school being bullied, they can come to their parents about it and have those conversations. I think that having an open dialogue with your kids and really asking them how their day is, and if they've seen anybody be treated unkindly and how are the people around them handling that, that's a really big thing. Because a lot of the time, I think that we don't even address if you see a child being treated unkindly by someone else, not your own child, or not, you know what I mean? You sit there and they don't know how to respond to that. We say to them, oh, don't treat people unkindly. But we're not really teaching, oh, how do we respond when someone is being treated unkindly? How do we stick up for them? How do we defend them? How do we advocate for them? So that's really the conversation that I would encourage parents to have. But then also, recognize your own child. There are so many times that a child may lose interest in an activity or a sport. They may not want to go and eat lunch with everybody else. There's reasons for that. And a lot of parents will brush that under. Those things need to be addressed and the questions need to be asked. And I know in light of, there's been a lot of other things going on within the school with some threats that I saw the other day, like we need to also highlight the importance of words on social media, on Snapchat, on Instagram, on Twitter, on text messages, and how much those words can have consequences and how we really need to be careful what we say.
Yeah, exactly. John?
Go ahead, Sean.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
So, Miss Olivia, I got a question for you here. This is a sports show. And I want to come back to the sports side of mental health. We always, the images that mental health and sports are, they're having a great time, they're doing good, and all of us at some degree in our lives are athletic to some level. I personally, the reason why my family's like, why am I so busy? If I don't keep doing things, I've had concussions when I was younger, pretty bad ones.
Yeah.
I can see myself slipping off into a daze. How many kids, athletes, they're stressed because they need to perform at the highest level. Yeah. The suicide prevention, it's not just for our general population that's being bullied. It's not just for our non-athletes, but could you speak to the issue with suicide prevention and maybe within our own athletic population?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to segue into like my own personal experience, being a marathon runner who is relatively a well-achieved marathon runner, I'm actually only a few minutes away from a Boston qualifying time. So I'm hoping that Chicago will give me that. I think that I especially feel that pressure to perform, to do well, for others to regard and respect my times. And I think that sometimes that has actually contributed to my mental health not being the greatest. Normally running has been such an amazing outlet for my mental health. It's been something that I can turn to after a long day. And I think that that's the balance that a lot of our athletes struggle with.
Right.
That balance between, oh my goodness, I love this because I love my team, I love my community, I love this sport. And, oh, I need to achieve at this sport. I need to win at this sport. I need to make the weight. I need to catch the ball. I need to make the play, and I need to do everything right. That's a hard thing for our athletes to handle, especially in high school, at the high school level, with the stress of all of the advanced classes, the other extracurricular activities, things that may be going on at home. I think that I would urge all of the athletes that may be watching this, especially at the high school level, to remember that, the content of your character matters so much more than your time in a 5K or a marathon, how many scores that you get on a game, like how many goals you get, how many home runs you get on the baseball field, if you cut the weight in wrestling. Like, at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, how are you treating other people and how are you treating yourself? I feel like our athletes don't give themselves enough credit. And I think the biggest thing that I can talk to you on an athletic level is that our athletes need to remember that there is a balance, and this is for fun too. Like, sports are to build character. They are to build friendships. They are to build community. They are to learn valuable life lessons. But of course, we want to win, but all of those things also need to come into play as well.
Right.
The pressure needs to be taken off a little bit from parents and athletes alike, because, as much as my parents may have put pressure on me as a child, there is no one who puts more pressure on me now than myself. So I think that if we can teach our youth to take a step back and recognize that it's not all about the achievement, but it's also about the connection and the lessons that you learn in sports, I think that our athletic population will feel a lot less stress. Like, there's a lot of high achieving athletes on the collegiate level that I've seen over the years who have unfortunately lost their lives to suicide. And a lot of that has had to do with, I just couldn't balance it all. I didn't feel like I was doing enough. And I would urge athletes to know that they're enough just as they are.
So you use the word balance there, and
Yes.
and that there is a key to that, and I want to go back to a little bit of the conversation where the conversation that you should be having.
Yes.
I think that people need to realize it's take the fear out of the conversation.
Absolutely.
And have it, because the fearful conversation is if something happens and you didn't have it.
Yes. Yes.
So don't be afraid of the conversation. Embrace the conversation. Get inside the conversation and understand the topics that are being expressed. And I tend to agree with you a lot on what you're saying, because there are stressors that one puts on themselves all the time. I'm not the accomplished marathon runner that you are, but I've run 2, and both under 4 hours. So
That's awesome.
and that was a long time ago.
I'm not telling you what mine is. I just won.
What's that?
Killed me.
Well, I say those things because a lot of the things that you're talking about are true to form. But I think one of the things as a young program that we are at our school, we've already faced a lot of these things. We've had deaths that whether it be in theater or in school or over on the athletic side of things, we've
Right.
had to embrace those moments. And I say embrace with love and caring and kindness, because one has to embrace those moments to learn from those moments.
Yes.
Even though they're tragic. These conversations are had, I believe, so that we may prevent those tragedies. Because we're willing to at least put it on the air and talk about it, even on a sports show.
No, and I appreciate that. When Sean told me that was one of the top reasons that you guys wanted to have me on, that was very touching to me, because, I don't think that we give individuals a platform to speak about mental health, especially in the athletic space, as often as we should.
I agree. Sean, do you have anything else?
Yeah, Olivia, that's a good point. Every year we're supposed to do physical checks, but we never do mental checks. I've been saying this since I was a teacher. It should be mandatory that if you see an MD doctor for your physical well-being, there should be the psychological, psychiatric equivalent of that, just for a checkup. Like in my own case, I'm really worried because I got dementia in my family. My dad had it pretty bad. He had a lot more concussions than I did. So there's a lot. Olivia, based on what you're saying today, I really want you to come back on our show again.
I'd love to. I would love to.
You'd be our medical liaison for the show, and I would love to have you back on because you really great conversation today.
Absolutely.
Again, give us the name of your cause you're running for, and please give us a link so we can post that for your fundraiser.
Absolutely. I'm going to be running for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I have raised around, I would say, 700 at this point. I think I need about 1,000 more.
Okay.
Fortunately, I actually qualified for Chicago with time, but when it came to suicide prevention, when I saw that there was a team for it, I knew that in addition to qualifying for time, I really wanted to make a difference and raise some money for suicide.
When is your race and when is money due by to fundraise?
September 27th is when the money is due by. And the race is on October 13th. I can also give you guys my tracking link if anybody would like to watch.
Well, I'm thinking too, John, let's deputize you to be an honorary correspondent for the Bobcat Blitz. When you're up in Chicago, give us some pictures and some videos for us.
Absolutely. Anything you guys need, just let me know.
And we'll hold you to coming back. Again, you're going to come back on later on in the year when Move Mountains figures out the finals of their fundraiser. We'd love to have you back on as well. If that's okay.
I love it.
And Sean, I don't think Sean knows it, but I did put Move Mountains up as a website for people to at least start checking out and get familiar with it. I think we're breaking ground with this conversation on this show because this would be our start of our second year, but it's really the first time we've delved into this type of conversation on a sports show. And these things are important to talk about. And, breaking barriers on an athletic level is one thing, but breaking barriers on conversation with athletes is another.
Yes, and I think the next time that I come on the show, there is definitely a lot of information that I can give our athletes on concussion syndrome, which is something that not many people have heard of in terms of how serious it can be. But there was actually a young man where I grew up who unfortunately got a concussion playing football. And he actually ended up having severe mental health problems due to this concussion. And no one really caught on to it. And he actually ended up losing his life. So it's very important for us as educators, for us as medical professionals, and for all of the athletes to understand, if there are certain things that you're feeling after a concussion, it's really important to talk to your parents about it. It's really important to talk to your coach or your teachers about it because there can be some pretty detrimental consequences. So I'd love to come on and talk about a lot of other things as well.
And it happens more than we think.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, this is again, we want to thank again. We got Olivia Ann Bonavento. Did I say it right?
You did. Not many do.
By the way, John, I saw her run for the first time at the July 4th. We had a cross-country fundraiser here, the Firecracker. I think she ran like 20-minute 5K. It was like 95 degrees in the heat. I'm sitting here. I don't know how she did it.
I got to tell you, I don't like that course either. I always say, I feel like I'm going to break an ankle on the Northport cross-country course. But
well, thank you so much. We'd like to have you come back for the Halloween. They have a 5K here on campus. The same course, unfortunately. It's going to be a 6:30 evening, same setup. We're going to have zombies at night chasing you down a little bit.
There better be lights.
I think the only zombie that can catch you, though, is Malia. I think she's the only one to be able to catch you on this track, so this course. But, yeah, they'll have lights, and I'll be there as well. So thank you so much, Miss Olivia. We can't wait to hear you do this.
Thank you, guys.
Run here, so thank you.
Thanks for being on.
All right, so fans, while I'm going to make my way into the cafeteria here, we're going to see the cheerleaders. I do want to mention that tomorrow night, the boys and girls swim team, they have a home meet here at the Northport Aquatic Center. I can't wait to see how they do this at 5 o'clock. And I'm bringing this up, John, because they need timer volunteers. Apparently, you don't need to have any experience, but they need timers badly because there's going to be a lot of swimmers, and they're going to start training about half hour, maybe 4:30 before they start. So that's tomorrow night. That's going to be at the Northport Aquatic Center. All right, want to come on in?
Fantastic.
Where can I go?
We're on the
Go
mobile,
on the
aren't
quieter
we?
side. John, I can't hear you. I'm going to move this quieter side
That's
here.
all right. You're doing
So
fine.
I'm in the cafeteria because this is where our cheer team, they do their practices. They also teach the younger cheerleaders later on in the day. They have the little cats. So that's what that energy is. I'm trying to find a less sounding place. All right. Can you hear me okay, John? Because I can go back outside.
Yep. You're perfect.
All right. All right, we'll lower the camera down. Come on in, ladies. We'll put you right about here. Come on up. Come on up. We can't even see. Let's get you in light. Let's back you up a little bit.
Go into the light. Go into the light.
Go into the light. All right. So viewers, we go from having a very serious discussion just now. We're going to end the show on hopefully a much lighter note. The fun side of football here. We've got our 2024 members of our cheer team. Why don't you have to introduce yourselves? We'll go from you over here. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Sarah.
Cheerleader voices.
Hi, my name's Sarah.
Perfect.
Hi, my name's Jada. Hi, I'm Chloe.
How about grade level? Start with you, Chloe.
I'm a senior this year. I'm also a senior. And I'm a junior.
All right, 2 seniors and a junior. All right. Coach, what do you think? We'll get you in here too as well. Just for a second. Here. Coach, go ahead, Coach. Introduce yourself to our viewers who don't know who you are.
I'm Coach Drockler. I coach the sideline cheerleaders, and these are 2 of our varsity captains this year and our JV captain here today.
So, Coach, you're new to this year's starting cheer team, correct? You're not. Was Coach Brantley was last year?
Yes.
Okay. So, how has that transition been for you all?
It's been great. The
Yeah.
girls, I've had these girls actually since they were freshmen, and now they're seniors, so I've got to work with them for 4 years now, which is exciting.
How big is your varsity team right now?
We have 23 girls, and 12 of them are seniors.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So it's a big team this year.
All right, so we'll start with the first cheerleader here. You said you're a junior.
Yes.
Okay, so last year is our first season doing this. It's called me.
Oh,
Okay. I learned a couple words. I learned stunts, lifters,
Bases.
what is it?
Bases.
Bases, and who gets thrown?
Flyers.
Flyers. So I'm going to angle over here. They're doing one right over the little kids there. And what's the one where you tumble and scare me to death when they flip on the rubber mat? What's that called?
Tumbler.
Yeah, that's the one that scares me the most.
Yeah.
That terrifies me. So which one are you on that?
I'm a base.
A base. Yourself?
Also a base.
Yes?
I'm also a base.
Oh, we got the foundation here. I love it. Yes. So just to give you a crude approximation, I played rugby when I was younger. I was the one that got thrown up in the air. Can you imagine throwing me in the air? The big guys, the base would have to push me up, and I had to go stretch out. But so being the base always meant something special to me. I'm like, please don't drop me. Please don't drop me. Please don't drop me. And you ladies got to throw people up 10, 20 feet in the air, I'm guessing. Something crazy like that. So how do you get trained for this? Like, how long did it take you to become a base, the best base in the county?
Throughout the summer, we actually got to go in the weight room and we got to lift weights. We did upper body workouts and lower body in order to increase our strength.
We also do a lot of conditioning with like reps of stunting. So yeah, we just practice a lot. Every practice we stunt.
So you did the weight. Let's go back to the weight room here because I think we missed out your voice again. So repeat again. So you go to the weight room. How do you like that new weight room?
It's really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah. Do you see a difference from the last year before they had it? What were you doing to work out before you had the weight room improvement?
Just a lot of like ab conditioning and stuff.
Yeah. Were you like in the same building though, but all squeezed
No,
in?
we would practice in here.
Oh, so now you actually have real access to weights. Oh, do you feel?
Yeah, we're feeling it.
That's fantastic. No one ever talks about that. How about, they don't think of cheerleading as being weight room, appropriate, but of course that makes perfect sense. You got to throw people up. You got to catch them. Have you ever dropped anybody?
Yeah, it happens.
It does, really. Because I've never seen you guys are so good out there on Friday nights. I'm the announcer, by the way, for your football game. So you guys do such a wonderful job out there. I love having you out there. When did you all start getting into cheer?
I started my freshman year here.
Previous to joining high school cheer, I did cheer for 3 years in a Pop Warner team called the Bandits, but then I've been cheering here for the past 4 years.
Excellent. Yourself?
I did basketball season my sophomore year, and then I started for the sideline.
So is that common to go from sport to sport? Do you pretty much stay on one side, or can you do both? Are you allowed to do both?
Yeah, we have 3 teams. So you can do sideline, which is football, basketball, and then we have a competition team in winter. So a lot of girls do 2, or some do all 3.
So the competitive team, that's the one that they went to states last year. They got like second or third, something amazing like that. Are you guys at the sideline division? Are you guys judged at all? Is there a way you can compete for that?
No.
It's just for fun. I mean, that's not for fun, but I mean, they don't go to like a state level. It's only competitive. I gotcha. I understand. So what's the lure of coming out and you work all summer long, working out? You go to those hot, muggy games. Why do you do it? What's bringing you in for all that hard work?
I think it's a really fun way to get involved in the game besides just going, and you get to like cheer with your friends. I don't know. I think it's really fun too because like the themes and like you're on the sideline. Like last week at the IMG game, like when they were winning, you're like right there in the action. So I think it's really fun.
So let's talk about that IMG game for a minute. Historic IMG game. I already mentioned on our show how we tried using their streaming service. It didn't work. So we didn't see a single thing other than what the fans were sending pictures back to us and updates. So you went to IMG. Do you know much about that school? Have anybody told you about that place? 50 to 80,000 a year to go there. And here we are, y'all, with your cheering. Got to help them out. 55 points. Do you realize how historic that is? They haven't scored 55 points since the first year that the school had a football team. So you got to be part of something really special. And I believe we saw maybe 4 or 5 times in the total history that they scored more than 50 points or more. So you get to say, I was there the night. We went up to mighty IMG and put 55 on them. That's a lot of cheering for touchdowns, isn't it? Have they thought about doing the push-up thing to find some kid to do that?
We've been talking about that. The girls are going to try it out at their first home game this Friday.
Oh, my goodness. Have you seen that in college before? Yeah. That 55 points would have killed anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to do it every time. So let's say 7 points. Then it's 14. You have to do 14. It just adds up arithmetically there. So, oh, my goodness. Let's go back to your sideline. So the first home game we had, you had to wear, you were just talking about the themes, student government themes. You actually wore neon green or neon. Yeah. How did you cheer in that thing, the construction vests?
It was fun.
Didn't get in the way?
No, they're loose. So we were able to move and dance.
I don't think we've seen that before. Have the cheerleaders ever gone out there with the themes?
Guess what they're wearing this week.
Oh, you want a surprise? I already told everybody it's a Western night, so I can only imagine.
Western night, you can only imagine.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's see.
Do you practice in those outfits? Because that's going to be, you're going to get chafing and. No?
No.
We were talking to some of the parents at the beginning of the episode. They had the cowbells, the parents on. I'm trying to recruit for more cowbells. And do you hear them when you're cheering? Yeah? Does it make a difference when you cheer? Does it mess you up at all?
We like when they interact with us. Like when we cheer, we love when they cheer back. So I feel like crowd interaction we like.
That's like our purpose. We're supposed to get the crowd to cheer on the bullets.
Right. That's awesome. So let's go back a little bit here. Let's take a step from the cheerleading. So you obviously do this all year long. Some of you do season only, but you still have summer conditioning and all that. How are you balancing your time with your academics, your socials? Do you sleep at all? Last year we found out that everybody on the show has like a 3-point somethings and aboves. I mean, it was crazy. Some of them are on the ACE program. Are you in any of those kind of extra programs? Which program are you in?
I'm in the ACE program. I'm in the ACE.
All 3 ACEs. Look at that. I think ACE is just growing and growing. Do you do with the dance program at all? We saw some cheerleaders last year with dance program. So you're doing things. So you're doing ACE. You're doing this. Do you have time to get your grades in?
Yeah.
Keeps you out of trouble?
Yes.
What would you say because we have viewers here who have kids in the lower grades, in elementary, middle school. What would you recommend if they were thinking about doing this cheer team? Where should they start off at? Do you have any suggestions? What would the first pathway be? You said you did bandits.
Yeah, but we actually have this Little Cats program here, and I'm not sure what grades it goes to. It goes to
Kindergarten up to 8th grade.
It's kindergarten to 8th grade.
Which is perfect because then you can start this team in your freshman year. So this is a great way to get introduced to our program.
Oh, listen for a second.
I love it. You can hear
All
them.
right. So I'm going to peel over to Coach for a minute. When did – you're going to be a little bit interesting here. So, Coach, let's talk about the junior Bobcats. What are they called? Little Cats?
Little Cats.
I get them all confused.
We started doing kids camps in the summertime, and then during winter season we would do like a day camp, and it just kind of grew into this whole Little Cats thing. And now we've got these kids that come out on Tuesday nights and they practice. And actually, you're going to see the Little Cats on Friday. They're coming to cheer at the game with us. We're doing our community game event, so you'll see some Little Cats there. We're getting the junior Bobcats involved as well. And some of the middle school bands is going to be out there with the band group. So we're really trying to get the community involved with all the different age groups. So the kids are really excited.
So again, John, last time we had an episode with the band. We're going to have Heron Creek and Woodland Middle bands are coming out. So now we're finding out we're going to have the Little Cats as well.
Cheerleaders will be out there, yep, cheering with the big girls.
That is going to be such a neat event to see. I can't wait for that. So when did you start with this program with the Little Cats? Or did someone else start before you with it?
Well, what's funny about it is, like I said, it started with just summer camps.
About how many years ago, Coach, would that have been?
Oh my goodness, I've lost track now. Been here 10 years. So
okay, so 10 years. That's still a very young program compared to all the local football programs.
Yeah, well, the Little Cats name came about. This is the third year with the actual Little Cats official name.
Excellent.
Yep, so
and these youngsters go to elementary schools in the area?
Yep, a lot of them are, like I said, kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade. We have a handful of 8th graders this year that have been with us since they were littles. So we've gotten to watch the littles grow now into bigs. Big littles.
John, you got any questions? I keep hogging the conversation here.
No, you're doing a great job. I want to commend the girls in the background because the cheer they did in the background was awesome. We picked it all up. You girls are definitely doing a good job helping them. Sean, you're doing a great job with the interview process. The only thing I'd ask is something we always talked about last year was how are their grades?
I just did. They're all smarty pants, John.
Yep.
They're all in ACE programs, all three of them.
Yep.
Did I miss that?
Yes.
Yep. And we're doing we do study hall after school. The girls love it. They have the cafeterias open after school. They have something called supper club. So a lot of the girls will come down here, get a free meal, and then we'll do study hall in the cafeteria until we start practice at 3 o'clock. So they have that time to kind of decompress and get some study time in as well.
I want to hear more about supper club.
What do you want to know, John? Tell us.
All right, so is that new?
No, John. They've had most schools have something like that. We've had it for how long? Oh, since I was teaching.
Yeah, it's been here for a while, and the athletes love it. All the kids in clubs love it because if they're here after school, they can come in, get a quick bite, and then go to their activities, and they're not starving after a long day of school. So
I'm gonna have to ask my son Michael because if there was supper club there, he's eating twice, and he's a wrestler. He can't eat twice.
Exactly. Oh, hang on. They're doing another one. Hang on. All right, there you go, John. Little preview of what's going to come Friday night. They're doing great out there.
They are excited. They're working on that routine for Friday night, and we'll have them with the big girls. So.
That's fantastic. So, John, I'm going to let them go here. They're going to finish wrapping up. They have to roll the mats themselves. Yep. They have nobody helping them with that. So
time to clean up and get these girls home.
So
fantastic.
Thank you again. One more time. Let's give the names. We'll go from left to right here.
I'm Chloe. I'm Jada. And I'm Sarah.
So, Chloe, Jada, and Sarah, I want to thank you for coming on here. Nice, good cheerleading voices there. You are the base for which all the different pods or different groups? Yep. Oh, I was going to say, all right, I know.
Different stunt groups.
All right, so I'll see you Friday night. Coach will give me the roster this time. I'll make sure I announce your names for the whole crowd to hear. So thank you very much, ladies. Anything you want to say about Friday night? Got any suggestions for the fans? Or
wear your Western stuff.
Wear your Western stuff. All right. I'm actually going to go outside and finish this up.
All right,
thank you, Coach Rocco. Thank you, ladies.
Hey, Sean.
Yes.
You should have got him to say, hey, go Bobcats.
Go Bobcats? I didn't hear it. As the kids say it. Go Bobcats. They're going to cut through here, John.
All right. Wow. A lot of kids in there. How many
A
kids are in
lot.
there?
2, 4, 6, 8, 9. About 20.
Wow.
Let me go outside here just a second.
Good showing. And they were loud too, Sean.
And you know, John, I've seen them with the basketball games on occasion. They come in for like the alumni games and the youth night and all that. It's just fun to see that we have a well-established funnel system now for not just soccer or football. Now we have cheerleading that's pretty much going to come here and give us a nice half of each generation here. All right, so John, quite a big range here today's show. So
It was.
I do want to mention one thing, John, and this is kind of personal for me. So you and I, we value, I think, the caliber of a good radio voice. We understand how hard it is to have a good projection. You know, growing up, we know our announcers. We knew Keith Jackson was my first college football announcer. We had
Howard
Dick Enberg.
Cosell.
You got Jim Nance. But last night, I mentioned this at the volleyball game. I think America lost its most famous voice yesterday. Do you know who it was? I had to give clues. Think Star Wars. The most famous voice in America, James Earl Jones, passed away yesterday.
Oh, he did. I did not know that, actually.
Darth Vader. He was the voice of Darth Vader for my entire life. He was the voice in Lion King. He was the father, was a Mustafa. He did movies people don't know about. He did Hunt for Red October. He did Field of Dreams. He did all sorts of things out there. So I want to give it up for the Jones family. Very personal voice for me. I love to have half the gravitas on that voice that he has. So,
right.
Yeah.
He had a voice to be recognized. That's one thing for sure.
So all of us PA men out there and radio people, I know we were tip our hats off to them.
Yep.
All right. So John, I want to thank you again. We got Friday night. Real quick though, Thursday JV football. Speaking of announcers, we have a JV announcer this year. His name is Mr. Ryan. He'll be here Thursday for the Port Charlotte game. Wednesday, of course, tomorrow we're going to have the swim meet over at the Northport Aquatic Center. So I can't wait to see you all Friday. Don't forget, fans, get me to Key West so I can broadcast that game. Let's never have to rely on an away team's broadcast system ever again. Let's get me down there. So please post a message if you can get me down there. I got to ride back. I just need to get down there on Friday. So.
Give them your cell, Sean.
No way. My wife will kill me. I'll get tons of calls. Just message the show. I put it out.
Yeah, I got mine. Mine's 941-391-4663. It's scrolling across the bottom. If you can give Sean a ride, please give me a text and I will get a hold of Sean and we will get this thing set up. He does not need a ride back. He just needs a ride down. So if you're going down there and you're a parent, please let us know.
All right. John, thank you again for tonight. I appreciate it. We will see you for we'll see you next Tuesday. Hopefully Friday night I can get you on the air. So
absolutely. We'll look forward to it. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, sir.
This Bobcat Blitz saying thanks so much for being part of the show. Please share this information. We're trying to get to 1,000 members. So share this information and like and just enjoy. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.